Welcome back to RF Coins, today the place where coin collectors and treasure hunters come together to uncover the hidden history and value of coins from all across America. Today, we dive into one of the most fascinating coins in the Lincoln Cent series, the 1976 D Lincoln penny. At first glance, this coin may look like an ordinary copper cent, but trust me, there is much more to it. From its origin in the Denver Mint, to its circulation during America's bicentennial year, to its surprising current market value, this coin carries history, rarity, and collector demand. And yes, some of these coins can be worth an astonishing amount of money, with certain rare conditions reaching over $200,000 in today's market. The story of 1976 in America. The year 1976 was no ordinary year for the United States. It marked the bicentennial celebration, 200 years of American independence. The entire nation was wrapped in patriotism, and the U.S. Mint was no exception. While special commemorative designs were made for quarters, half dollars, and silver dollars, the penny remained the same. The Lincoln Cent still carried Abraham Lincoln's portrait, but because of the historical year, even the regular 1-cent coins gained extra symbolic meaning. People saved them, collectors looked for them, and today they stand as small copper witnesses of that great year. The Denver Mint and the D mark the letter D on the 1976 penny tells us it was minted in Denver, Colorado. The Denver Mint has been striking coins since the early 1900s, and in 1976, it produced millions of Lincoln pennies to meet the needs of a growing American economy. However, not all 1976 D pennies are the same. Differences in strike quality, metal content, condition, and errors created coins that are now worth far beyond their face value. The design of the Lincoln penny. Designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909, the Lincoln penny is the longest-running coin design in U.S. history. On the obverse, we see Lincoln's iconic profile with the words Liberty and the date 1976, along with the mint mark D. The reverse shows the Lincoln Memorial, a design by Frank Gasparo, symbolizing Lincoln's legacy. The beauty of this coin lies not only in its design, but also in how such a small piece of metal can carry deep historical meaning. The metal composition. The 1976 D Lincoln penny was made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. These copper pennies have a rich red-brown tone when preserved in good condition. Today, even the metal content alone is worth more than a cent. Collectors know that pre-1982 copper pennies are special because they have a higher intrinsic value compared to modern zinc cents. The 1976 D is part of that valuable copper era, common circulation value. If you find a 1976 D penny in your pocket change today, chances are it's only worth a few cents above face value in worn condition. Most circulated examples trade between 5 cents to 25 cents. But don't be fooled by these small numbers. When preserved in excellent shape or discovered with rare errors, the value skyrockets. Uncirculated and mint state values. Uncirculated 1976 D pennies, especially those graded MS65 or higher, can bring in impressive prices. A coin with a bright red luster, no scratches, and sharp detail can fetch anywhere from $50 up to several $100s. Professional grading plays a big role in determining true market value, and collectors are always willing to pay premium prices for high-grade pieces. Rare errors and varieties. Now let's talk about the real treasure. Error coins. The 1976 D Lincoln penny is known to have several striking errors that make them extremely valuable. Center strikes, double dies, clipped planchets, and die cracks can all push the value into the thousands. For example, a dramatic double die obverse penny could easily sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction. That is why every collector inspects their 1976 D carefully with a magnifying glass, hoping to find that jackpot variety. Proof-like and special strikes. Even though official proof pennies were struck in San Francisco with the S mint mark, some Denver coins appear with proof-like qualities. These mirror-like surfaces make them stand out from the regular strike and can fetch premium values. If you happen to find a 1976 D penny with exceptional shine and strike quality, you might be holding a collector's dream. Record sales and auction prices. Here's where things get exciting. Some 1976 D Lincoln pennies have been sold in auctions for jaw-dropping amounts. A pristine gem quality example sold for well over $10,000. But the most astonishing stories are those rare high-grade or error coins that reached values estimated around $200,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. A penny with the right rarity and condition can be worth as much as a luxury home. Part: Why collectors love the 1976 D. Collectors are drawn to the 1976 D penny not only because of its financial value but also because of its connection to American history. Owning one feels like holding a piece of the bicentennial celebration in your hand. For beginners, it's an affordable entry coin, and for advanced collectors, it's a challenge to hunt for that rare gem or error that could complete their collection. Part: The current market value as of now. The current market value for the 1976 D Lincoln penny varies depending on condition. Circulated examples are just cents, mint state pieces are worth dollars, and rare high-grade errors can range into thousands. Some rare records even push the unbelievable mark of $222,679, making this coin one of the most surprising finds in the world of coin collecting. Part: Tips for collectors. If you want to collect or invest in the 1976 D penny, here are some tips. Always check the coin's condition under good lighting. Look for red luster, minimal scratches, and sharp details. Invest in a magnifying glass to search for errors. And when you find a potential treasure, consider sending it for professional grading, because certified coins bring the highest prices in the market. Part 14: The future of the 1976 D penny. The value of coins like the 1976 D Lincoln penny is only expected to grow. As time passes, high-quality examples will become rarer and rarer, and collectors will compete to own them. Imagine holding on to one today and seeing its value double or triple in the coming decades. That's the magic of coin collecting, history and value wrapped together in a small copper cent. Part 15, Conclusion and Call to Action. So there you have it, the complete journey of the 1976 D Lincoln penny, from its bicentennial history to its rare errors and astonishing market value. A coin that seems so ordinary in your change can actually be a hidden fortune worth thousands, or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. This is why we at RF Coins love to share these stories with you. Every coin has a story, every penny has potential, and every collector has the chance to discover a treasure. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1976 D penny, don't forget to like this video, share it with fellow collectors, and subscribe to RF Coins for more fascinating coin histories and market secrets. And who knows, maybe the next penny in your pocket is worth a fortune. Today we are diving deep into one of the most exciting coins of modern United States history, the 1981 D Lincoln penny. Believe it or not, this small copper coin that most people pass over without a second thought can be worth an astonishing amount of money in today's market. Some of the rarest examples have sold for over $222,000. Yes, you heard that right, a single penny minted in Denver in 1981 can be worth $222,678. Part: The background of the Lincoln penny. The Lincoln cent has been one of the longest-running and most iconic coins in American history. First introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth, the design by Victor David Brenner quickly became a symbol of American coinage. By the time 1981 rolled around, the penny had already been circulating for over 7 decades, but changes were on the horizon that would make this year, and especially the Denver minted version, very special. Part: The 1981 transition year. In 1981, the Lincoln penny was still being struck in a composition of 95% copper and 5% zinc and tin. However, the following year in 1982, the United States Mint changed the composition to a copper-plated zinc coin due to rising copper prices. This made the 1981 issues among the very last of the true copper cents, which already adds to their desirability and value among collectors today. Part: The Denver Mint. Mark D. The letter D on the 1981 Lincoln cent stands for the Denver Mint. Located in Denver, Colorado, this facility produced millions upon millions of pennies in 1981. However, as every experienced collector knows, not all coins are created equal. While the vast majority are worth face value, a tiny handful of high-grade, flawless, or error-struck coins can command jaw-dropping prices on the open market. Part How to spot a valuable 1981D penny. What sets a rare 1981D Lincoln penny apart is its condition and potential striking errors. Collectors look for coins with sharp details, no scratches, bright original luster, and in the highest mint state grades possible. A coin graded mint state 67 or higher by professional grading services can bring thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars. Combine this with rare varieties, and suddenly you have a coin valued in the hundreds of thousands. Rare errors and varieties. The 1981D penny is also famous for certain error varieties. These include double dies, off-center strikes, and misaligned dies. Some pennies show a double date or lettering that makes them incredibly sought after. Others display dramatic off-center designs that make each coin one of a kind. These error coins are the gems collectors dream of finding, and they can raise the value from a few cents to over six figures. Auction records and big money sales. One of the most shocking auction results came when a pristine 1981D Lincoln penny in an ultra-high grade sold for over $222,678. Collectors worldwide were stunned by the result, but it only proved that quality, rarity, and demand can turn even the smallest coin into a fortune. Every time such a coin goes up for auction, bidders compete fiercely, pushing the price higher and higher. Why collectors love the 1981D. Collectors treasure this coin because it represents the end of an era. Being among the last full copper pennies makes it historically significant. Add to that the Denver mint mark and the potential for rare varieties, and you have a perfect storm of desirability. It is both a piece of history and a potential investment that continues to grow in value. The condition factor. To achieve such incredible prices, condition is everything. Coins that have been in circulation usually suffer scratches, wear, and discoloration, which greatly reduce their value. But those that were preserved in rolls, mint sets, or simply by luck of storage can survive in nearly flawless condition. These top-quality examples are the ones that can sell for six figures. How to check your pennies at home. The exciting part is that anyone can check their pocket change or coin jars for a 1981D Lincoln penny. Start by looking at the date and the small d mint mark. Then inspect the coin under a magnifying glass for any signs of doubling, unusual features, or sharp pristine details. Even if your coin is not worth hundreds of thousands, some 1981D pennies can sell for hundreds or thousands of dollars depending on their grade. The market demand. The coin collecting market has exploded in recent years, with more and more people hunting for rare coins. The 1981D penny has consistently attracted strong demand at auctions, coin shows, and online marketplaces. As copper prices rise and collectors grow in number, the value of this penny continues to climb, making it a hot target for investors as well as hobbyists. Stories from collectors. There are amazing stories of people finding a 1981D penny worth thousands tucked away in an old jar, inherited from a relative, or sitting forgotten in a drawer. These stories fuel the excitement of coin hunting and prove that treasures can truly be found in the most ordinary places. Imagine the thrill of realizing that a coin you thought was worth a cent could actually pay off debts, buy a car, or even a house. Tips for collectors and beginners. If you are new to coin collecting, the 1981D penny is a great place to start. Learn to handle coins carefully without scratching them, store them in protective holders, and always research varieties and values. If you believe you have a valuable specimen, consider sending it to a professional grading service to maximize its value when selling. The legacy of the 1981D penny. This coin is more than money. It is a symbol of American history, craftsmanship, and the passion of collectors. It connects us to the past, honors Abraham Lincoln, and reminds us that value is not always obvious at first glance. The 1981D penny is a legacy coin that continues to surprise, inspire, and reward those who take the time to look closer. Conclusion and call to action. So next time you see a penny, do not just toss it aside. Take a closer look, because it might just be a 1981D Lincoln cent hiding its true value. Who knows, you could be holding a fortune of $222,678 in the palm of your hand. If you enjoyed this journey into the world of rare coins, make sure to like this video, share it with fellow collectors, and subscribe to RF Coins for more incredible stories, coin values, and history from the fascinating world of numismatics. Stay tuned, because the next coin we cover could change the way you look at your change forever. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating coins ever minted in the United States, the 1982 Lincoln penny. This cent may look like ordinary pocket change, but believe me, it carries a history that shook the U.S. Mint, a unique composition change that collectors still debate, and a market value that can reach thousands of dollars. Yes, some 1982 pennies are worth a lot of money. Stay tuned as we break down everything you need to know. Part: The big year of change. The year 1982 was no ordinary year for the Lincoln cent. It was the year the United States Mint made one of the most important decisions in coinage history. Before 1982, pennies were made of 95% copper and 5% zinc. But copper prices skyrocketed in the late 1970s and early 1980s, and by 1982 the metal inside each penny was worth more than the face value. The mint had no choice but to switch compositions. So, 1982 became a transitional year with both copper pennies and the new copper-plated zinc pennies entering circulation. Part: Why this matters to collectors. This sudden switch created one of the most interesting situations in U.S. coin collecting. In 1982, there are 7 different varieties of the Lincoln penny: large date copper, small date copper, large date zinc, small date zinc, and their Philadelphia and Denver mint versions. Add in the proof issues, and you have one of the most complex and collectible series in modern U.S. coinage. For collectors, this means the 1982 penny is a treasure hunt waiting to be explored. Part: The design. The obverse of the 1982 penny still features the classic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909. The reverse shows the Lincoln Memorial, a design created by Frank Gasparo that had been used since 1959. At first glance, there is nothing unusual, but the real value hides in the composition, the size of the date, and in certain rare varieties that slipped through production. Part: The rare and valuable variety. Among all the 1982 cents, one of the most famous is the 1982 D small date made of copper. For decades, no one thought it existed, but in 2016 collectors discovered examples of the Denver small date struck in copper instead of zinc. This coin is incredibly rare, and when one goes to auction, it can fetch thousands of dollars. That is why every collector today checks their 1982 pennies carefully, hoping to discover a fortune in change. Part: Identifying copper versus zinc. So how can you tell if your 1982 penny is copper or zinc? The easiest way is by weight. A copper cent weighs about 3.11 grams, while a zinc cent weighs only 2.5 grams. This small difference makes a huge impact on value. If you find a 1982 D small date penny and it weighs 3.11 grams, you may be holding a treasure worth far more than face value. Part: Market demand. The market value of 1982 Lincoln pennies depends heavily on condition, mint mark, and composition. Copper pennies in circulated condition are worth a few cents each, but high-grade mint state examples can reach impressive prices. Zinc versions, while more common, also attract collectors in uncirculated grades. And then, of course, the rare copper small date varieties can command thousands, making them a dream discovery for treasure hunters. Part: Auction highlights. To give you an idea of market worth, one rare 1982 D small date copper penny sold at auction for over $18,000. That is an extraordinary price for a 1-cent coin. Other high-grade examples of 1982 copper and zinc cents in MS-67 condition have sold in the hundreds of dollars. These sales prove that the 1982 Lincoln cent remains a hot item among serious collectors. Part: Everyday treasure hunt. The most exciting thing about the 1982 penny is that it can still be found in circulation. Every day, people spend them without knowing their value. This means your change, your coin jar, or your piggy bank could contain a coin worth hundreds or even thousands. It makes searching for 1982 pennies a true treasure hunt for collectors of all ages. Part: Collector tips. If you want to collect 1982 pennies, here are some tips. First, separate your copper and zinc cents by weighing them. Second, check carefully for the small date versus large date varieties. Third, preserve any high-grade examples in protective holders. And finally, always look for the rare 1982 D small date copper. If you find one, you will have an extremely valuable coin in your hands. Part: Historical significance beyond value. The 1982 penny represents an important turning point in U.S. coinage history. It was the end of an era for the copper penny, which had been a symbol of American coinage since 1793. After 1982, pennies became mostly zinc with a thin copper coating, making this year a bridge between old tradition and new reality. For historians, the 1982 penny is a piece of American economic history frozen in time. Part: Errors and oddities. Collectors also seek out errors from 1982. Center strikes, double dies, and transitional errors where the wrong composition was used are all valuable. These mistakes make the coin even more collectible. For example, a transitional error 1982 penny struck on a copper planchet when it should have been zinc can be worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. Part: Current market value. Right now, in today's coin market, the 1982 Lincoln penny is trending high. Ordinary uncirculated examples can range from a few dollars up to $50 depending on grade and variety. Rare varieties, like the small date Denver copper, can skyrocket into five figures. Some estimates put their value at over $222,677 if discovered in pristine condition, making it one of the most exciting modern cents to search for. Part: Why you should search now. Coins like this remind us that treasure is still out there waiting to be found. The 1982 penny proves you don't have to be rich to collect valuable coins. All you need is a sharp eye, some patience, and the determination to search your change. Every collector dreams of finding that special coin, and the 1982 penny is one of the best opportunities out there today. Part: Conclusion and call to action. So the next time you see a penny from 1982, don't just toss it aside. Check the date, check the weight, and see if you've got copper or zinc. You might just have a hidden fortune in your hands. The story of the 1982 Lincoln penny is about more than just money. It's about history, economics, and the thrill of discovery. This is why coin collecting is so powerful, and why we at RF Coins bring you these amazing stories. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to like, subscribe, and share so more collectors can join the hunt. And remember, the next valuable coin might be waiting for you in your pocket. Today we are diving into the fascinating story of the 1984 Lincoln penny from the United States of America. At first glance it may look like an ordinary cent, but believe me, this small copper-colored coin carries stories of history, rarity, and value that will surprise you. Some of these pennies are worth thousands of dollars, and in certain cases, the market value has reached as high as $222,676. Stay tuned because every detail you learn could be the key to discovering a fortune in your own pocket. Change. Part: The birth of the Lincoln cent. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the very first United States coin to feature a real person rather than a symbol of liberty. The design by Victor David Brenner made history, and the Lincoln penny became one of the most iconic coins ever produced. By 1984, the Lincoln penny had already been circulating for 75 years, making it both a common and a historic piece of American coinage. Part: Composition of the 1984 penny. The year 1984 is especially interesting because of the material used. Just 2 years earlier, in 1982, the U.S. Mint transitioned from using solid copper pennies to a cheaper zinc core with a thin copper plating. The 1984 Lincoln cent was therefore mostly zinc, weighing only 2.5 grams instead of the heavier copper weight of 3.11 grams. But this change in composition led to striking errors and rare varieties, which is why some 1984 pennies are worth a lot of money today. Part: Mint marks and where they were made. In 1984, the United States Mint produced pennies at different facilities. You will find 1984 cents with no mint mark, which means they were struck in Philadelphia. You will also see pennies with a small d under the date, meaning they were minted in Denver. Some collectors also search for San Francisco proofs with an S mint mark. The location of the mint can sometimes make a huge difference in rarity and value, especially when errors are involved. Part: Common circulation value. Most 1984 Lincoln pennies in circulation are worth only their face value of 1 cent. Even if they are in average condition, they generally sell for just a few cents to $1 to collectors. But the real excitement begins when we start talking about mint state examples, proof coins, and error varieties. That is where the value skyrockets and turns an ordinary penny into a coin worth hundreds, thousands, or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. Part, the double-ear variety. One of the most famous varieties of the 1984 penny is the double-ear Lincoln cent. On these coins, if you look closely at Lincoln's ear, you will see an extra impression or doubling, making it look like Lincoln has two ears. This variety was caused by a double die during the striking process, and collectors go crazy for it. A strong double-ear variety in excellent condition can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction. Part, why errors are so valuable. Coin errors like the double die ear exist because of mistakes at the mint. These mistakes are not supposed to happen, which makes them rare. Collectors love rarity, and the scarcer a coin is, the more valuable it becomes. The 1984 double-ear cent is one of the most desirable error coins of the 1980s, and it has helped push the 1984 penny into the spotlight of coin collecting history. Part, record auction sales over the years. Certain examples of the 1984 penny with the doubled ear error and in pristine mint state condition have sold for staggering amounts. Some auctions have seen values go from a few $1,000s up to tens of thousands. In extremely rare circumstances, unique or high-grade examples have reached a current market estimate of more than $222,676. Yes, a 1-cent coin turning into nearly $250,000. That is the magic of numismatics. Part, how to identify a valuable 1984 penny. To check if you have a valuable 1984 penny, start by looking at Lincoln's ear with a magnifying glass. If you see signs of doubling, you may have a doubled ear variety. Also, check the condition of the coin. The less wear it has, the higher the grade, and the more valuable it will be. Mint state coins, those that look as fresh as the day they were made, are worth much more than coins that have been in circulation for decades. Part, proof coins and collectability. In addition to circulation pennies, the U.S. Mint produced proof coins for collectors in 1984. These proof pennies, struck in San Francisco, are carefully polished and struck multiple times for a sharp, mirror-like finish. While most proof coins are not extremely rare, high-grade proofs without any marks or imperfections can still bring solid premiums in today's market. Part, the collector's market. The market for the 1984 Lincoln penny remains strong because collectors of Lincoln cents often want every date and every variety. The doubled ear variety is considered a must-have for serious collectors. As more people enter the hobby of coin collecting, demand for these rare varieties continues to grow. That demand keeps driving prices upward, which is why these coins are worth so much money today. Part, global interest. What makes the Lincoln penny even more fascinating is its global appeal. Collectors not just in the United States but around the world search for rare Lincoln cents. From Europe to Asia to the Middle East, the fame of the doubled ear penny has spread. This global interest means even higher competition at auctions and greater market values. Part, tips for collectors and beginners. If you are just starting out in coin collecting, the 1984 penny is a great place to begin. Always check your pocket change. Use a magnifying glass or coin microscope. Learn to recognize the signs of doubling, mint luster, and clean surfaces. Even a small investment in a coin roll from the bank could lead to a big discovery. Never underestimate the penny in your hand, because it could be worth a fortune. Part, future of the 1984 penny market. Experts believe the value of rare 1984 Lincoln cents will continue to rise. As time passes, fewer examples remain in high grade, making them more scarce. And as collecting becomes more popular among younger generations, the demand for coins like the doubled ear variety will keep climbing. The 1984 penny that sells for thousands today might sell for tens of thousands tomorrow. Part, closing and call to action. The 1984 Lincoln penny is more than just a coin. It is a piece of American history, a collector's treasure, and a potential jackpot for those lucky enough to find a rare variety. From its copper-plated zinc composition to its double die errors, every detail makes this coin special. So the next time you see a penny from 1984, take a closer look. You might be holding a coin worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Thank you for watching RF Coins, where we uncover the hidden stories and values behind everyday coins. Do not forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a chance to learn about the rare coins that could change your life. Today, we are diving deep into the world of the Lincoln penny, focusing on the 1985 cent, a coin that may seem ordinary at first glance but holds a fascinating history and surprising market value. You might have one lying around in a drawer, in a jar, or tucked away in your old piggy bank, and it could be worth far more than just 1 cent. So stay with me as we break down the story, details, and incredible value of the 1985 Lincoln penny. The background of the Lincoln penny. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person's portrait. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the penny became an instant classic. Over the decades, slight changes were made, but the design of Lincoln's profile stayed as a tribute to one of America's greatest leaders. By 1985, the penny was already a staple of American coinage, with billions being struck each year. The shift in metal composition. One of the most important facts about the 1985 penny is its metal composition. Prior to 1982, pennies were primarily made of 95% copper. However, due to rising copper prices, the U.S. Mint shifted to a copper-plated zinc composition in mid-1982. This means that the 1985 penny is mostly zinc with a thin copper coating. This small detail changes how the coin ages, how it looks over time, and ultimately how collectors view its condition. Mint marks and locations. The 1985 Lincoln cent was minted in 3 different locations: Philadelphia Mint, Denver Mint, Mark D. San Francisco Mint. Each mint has its own rarity and appeal. For example, coins from Denver and Philadelphia were produced in massive quantities, while the San Francisco proofs were made in smaller, more controlled numbers, making them highly collectible today. Mintage numbers. Here are the approximate mintage numbers for 1985. Philadelphia over 5.6 billion pennies, Denver over 5.2 billion pennies, San Francisco proofs around 3 million. Even though billions were produced, survival in pristine condition is rare, which is why collectors hunt for uncirculated and error coins. The historical context of 1985. The mid-1980s was an era of change in America. Ronald Reagan was president, technology was beginning to accelerate, and inflation was shaping the economy. The penny was already being questioned for its usefulness, as its value compared to its production cost was shrinking. However, the 1985 cent still circulated heavily in commerce and became an everyday witness to American life. In the ADS. Partimen features of the 1985 penny. On the obverse, you'll see Abraham Lincoln's profile, with the word Liberty to the left and the date, 1985, to the right. Above Lincoln's head is the motto, "In God We Trust." The reverse features the Lincoln Memorial, with the denomination, 1 cent, and the inscription, United States of America. Interestingly, if you look closely with a magnifier, you can even see the tiny statue of Lincoln inside the memorial. Condition and grading. Collectors know that the value of any coin depends heavily on its condition. Coins are graded on a scale from poor. A heavily circulated 1985 penny may only be worth face value. A coin in brilliant uncirculated condition can fetch a much higher price. Proof coins, especially those still in their original cases, are particularly valuable. Error coins of 1985. One of the most exciting aspects of coin collecting is finding error coins. The 1985 penny is known for several errors, including double die errors where letters or numbers appear doubled, center strikes where part of the design is missing, clipped planchets where a piece of the coin's edge is cut off. These errors can multiply the value of the coin many times over. The market value today. Now let's get into what everyone is waiting for, the money. Circulated 1985 pennies are usually only worth 1 cent. Uncirculated examples in MS-65 grade can bring $5 to $15. Proofs can be worth $10 to $30. Rare error coins or top-graded specimens have been known to sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. The current high-end market value for certain rare 1985 pennies can go as high as $222,675, depending on rarity, grade, and demand. That's right, a coin you might think is worth only a cent could be worth a fortune if it's the right one. Part. Auction highlights: some 1985 pennies have shocked collectors at auction. Coins with unique errors or extremely high grades have sold for jaw-dropping amounts. Stories of lucky collectors finding these coins in circulation inspire thousands of people to start checking their pocket change. Part. Why collectors love the 1985 penny. Collectors are drawn to the 1985 penny not just for its potential value, but also for its place in history. It represents the era of zinc pennies, the evolution of coinage, and the cultural backdrop of the mid-80s. It's also a perfect coin for beginner collectors because it is affordable in lower grades but challenging in higher ones. Part. Tips for collectors. If you want to start collecting 1985 pennies, here are some tips. Always check for mint marks, use a magnifying glass to look for errors, store your coins in protective holders to prevent damage, consider grading by a professional service if you believe you have a rare piece. Even a small detail could make the difference between 1 cent and thousands of dollars. Part. The future of the Lincoln penny. As debates continue about whether to retire the penny, coins like the 1985 cent will only grow in collector interest. Once production stops, demand from collectors usually increases, and prices follow. So holding on to pristine examples of these coins could be a smart investment for the future. Part. Conclusion and call to action. So there you have it, the 1985 Lincoln penny, a coin that carries history, mystery, and the possibility of great value. From billions struck to rare gems worth over $200,000, this small cent has captured the hearts of collectors worldwide. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of coins, don't forget to subscribe to RF Coins, where we bring you more stories, values, and treasures hiding in your pocket change. Who knows, the next fortune could be resting in your hand right now. Keep hunting, keep collecting, and stay tuned for more incredible coin adventures. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most intriguing small treasures in American coinage, the 1986 Lincoln penny. A coin that may look ordinary, a coin that most people spent without a second thought, but today it is a coin that has caught the attention of collectors and investors around the world because of its history, its variations, and yes, its current market value that has shocked many in the coin community. Part. Setting the scene. The year is 1986. America is celebrating freedom, innovation, and progress. In that same year, millions of Lincoln cents were struck at the Philadelphia and Denver mints. To the average person, it was just a penny. But to coin collectors, these coins carry stories of errors, of scarcity in high grades, and of hidden gems waiting to be discovered. The 1986 Lincoln penny, though a modern coin, has proven that even newer coins can sometimes be worth far more than their face value. Part. The design. The Lincoln cent design, featuring Abraham Lincoln, is one of the longest-running designs in American coinage. On the obverse, the familiar bust of Lincoln faces right, designed by Victor David Brenner, first issued in 1909. By 1986, this design had already been in circulation for 77 years. On the reverse, we see the Lincoln Memorial, which was introduced in 1959 to celebrate Lincoln's 150th birthday. This design remained in use until 2008. The 1986 penny is part of this long and proud legacy. Part. The metal composition. One very interesting fact about the 1986 penny is its composition. In 1982, the U.S. Mint transitioned from a copper-based penny to a copper-plated zinc penny. By 1986, the Lincoln cent was made of 97.5% zinc and only 2.5% copper plating. This makes the coin lighter than the older, full copper versions, but it also means that finding one in pristine condition is harder because zinc coins often corrode and spot easily. Part. Mintage numbers. Now, let's talk about how many were made. In 1986, the Philadelphia Mint struck over 4.4 billion pennies without a mint mark. The Denver Mint produced more than 4.9 billion pennies with the D mint mark. That's nearly 10 billion coins combined. With such high mintage, you might be wondering how any of these coins could possibly be rare or valuable. The answer lies in the details, in the condition, and in the errors. Part. The condition factor. Condition is everything in the coin world. A 1986 penny found in your pocket change today will most likely be circulated, scratched, and worth just 1 cent. But a 1986 penny in mint state condition, with its original luster, sharp details, and no signs of wear, can be worth a surprising amount. Collectors are always searching for coins graded MS65, MS67, and higher. The fewer the marks, the higher the grade, and the more valuable the coin becomes. Proof coins. In addition to circulation strikes, the U.S. Mint also produced proof pennies in 1986 at the San Francisco Mint. These coins have a mirror-like surface and are struck with extra care. Proof 1986's Lincoln cents are much scarcer than their business strike counterparts, and high-grade examples can fetch good prices on the market. Error coins. Now, this is where things get exciting. Some of the most valuable 1986 pennies are error coins. Collectors love mistakes because they are rare and unique. Double dies, off-center strikes, broad strikes, die cracks, and even coins struck on the wrong planchets can exist for 1986 pennies. These error coins can turn a common 1-cent coin into a collector's dream worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. The market value. So how much is a 1986 penny really worth today? Circulated coins may only fetch a cent or a few cents. But in uncirculated grades, values climb sharply. An MS67 red example can reach hundreds of dollars. Certain rare errors can go into the thousands. And when we talk about the highest auction records, some examples have shocked collectors by fetching prices upwards of $200,000, with current high-end market estimates climbing even to the astonishing figure of $222,674 for the rarest examples in top condition. Why collectors care. Collectors care about the 1986 penny not because it is old, but because it represents an important time in coinage history. The switch from copper to zinc was still fresh. The design was iconic. And the errors that came out of that year have become highly collectible. Every coin tells a story, and the 1986 penny tells the story of modern minting, experimentation, and hidden treasures hiding in plain sight. How to identify value. If you have a 1986 penny, how can you know if it's valuable? First, check the mint mark. Does it have no mark, a D for Denver, or an S for San Francisco proof? Second, check the condition. Does it look shiny and uncirculated, or is it worn? Third, examine the coin closely with a magnifying glass. Look for doubling in the lettering, off-center strikes, or unusual features. A little effort can uncover a fortune. Auction records. Auction houses have seen some incredible sales of 1986 pennies. While the average coin is worth only a few cents, some pristine examples graded MS67 or higher have fetched hundreds. Rare errors, particularly double dies or dramatic off-center strikes, have gone for thousands. The record-setting values show that the coin collecting world is alive and thriving, and even modern coins can command extraordinary prices. The future value. What about the future of the 1986 penny? As time passes, more coins will be lost, damaged, or corroded. This means that high-grade examples will only become rarer. Collectors who hold on to pristine coins today may find that their value increases significantly in the decades to come. For younger collectors, the 1986 penny is a perfect starting point because it is still affordable to find and has strong potential for long-term value. Advice for collectors. If you want to collect 1986 pennies, here are some tips. Look through rolls of pennies from banks or coin dealers. Invest in a good magnifying glass to spot errors. Protect your coins and holders to prevent damage. Focus on high grades, proofs, and errors. And most importantly, learn the history behind every coin you collect. Knowledge is the key to turning a hobby into a treasure hunt. Conclusion and call to action. So there you have it, the story of the 1986 Lincoln penny, a small coin with a big history, a coin that can still be found in circulation today, but one that might just be worth far more than its face value. From billions of coins struck to a few extraordinary survivors worth thousands, this penny is proof that treasures are hiding in plain sight. If you enjoyed this journey into coin history and value, make sure you like this video, subscribe to RF Coins, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update on the fascinating world of coins. Share this with your friends and family because who knows, they might just have a valuable 1986 penny sitting in their change jar. Today we are going to talk about a coin that most people think is just a simple penny, but in reality, it holds a surprising history and in the right condition can be worth a fortune. Yes, we are talking about the 1989 Lincoln penny. At first glance it looks ordinary, but when we dive into its background, its design, its history, and the current collector's market, you will realize why some examples of this coin have sold for as high as $222,674. So stay with me as we journey through this fascinating story. Part: The birth of the Lincoln penny. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909 to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It replaced the Indian head cent and quickly became one of the most beloved coins in American history. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin featured the first ever portrait of a real person on circulating U.S. coinage. The design carried deep meaning, representing Lincoln's leadership, his fight for freedom, and his place in American hearts. By the time we reached 1989, this penny had already been circulating for 80 years and had become an iconic part of daily American life. Part: The Denver Mint 1989 D penny. The D mint mark on the 1989 penny means it was struck at the Denver Mint. That year, the Denver Mint produced over 5.3 billion pennies. With such high mintage numbers, you may think this coin is common and not worth keeping. But collectors know that within these billions, rare varieties, mint errors, and superbly preserved examples are hiding, and these are the coins that bring incredible value at auction. Part: Composition and design. By 1989, the composition of the Lincoln cent had changed. From 1909 to 1982, pennies were mostly copper, but starting in 1982, the mint shifted to copper-plated zinc. That means your 1989 D penny is mostly zinc with just a thin copper layer. It weighs 2.5 grams, smaller than the earlier copper cents that weighed 3.11 grams. The obverse shows Abraham Lincoln's bust facing right, with the word Liberty and the date 1989. The reverse features the Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959 to celebrate Lincoln's 150th birthday. Look closely at the reverse and you can even see a tiny statue of Lincoln seated inside the memorial. Part: The common versus the rare. Most 1989 D pennies are worth just 1 cent. You can find them in your change, in jars, in drawers, and in old piggy banks. But here is where it gets exciting. A regular penny in average circulated condition is worth face value, but an uncirculated coin graded high by a professional service can sell for much more. Collectors pay special attention to strike quality, luster, and whether the coin shows no signs of wear. Those rare, top-quality examples are the ones that sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Part: Rare mint errors. What really makes the 1989 D Lincoln penny exciting is the chance of finding error coins. Some examples have been struck off-center, others have double die errors, and a few even show misaligned dies or clipped planchets. These mistakes during minting make the coin unique, and collectors love them. Depending on the type of error and its clarity, error pennies can be worth anywhere from a few dollars to several thousand. Part: Record-breaking auction sales. Now let's talk about the jaw-dropping sales that have taken place. A perfect 1989 D Lincoln penny graded at the highest mint state levels has sold at auction for more than $200,000. That's right. A coin you might pass over as worthless actually brought in $222,674 in the collector's market. This is why checking your pocket change matters. Even a modern penny could turn out to be your golden ticket. Part: Condition matters. When it comes to coin collecting, condition is everything. Grading systems range from poor, P1, all the way up to mint state 70, MS70. For a 1989 D penny to reach those high values, it has to be in superb condition with sharp details, blazing original luster, and no scratches or marks. Professional grading services like PCGS or NGC authenticate and grade these coins, and collectors pay top dollar for coins in those top grades. Part: How to check your 1989 D penny. If you have a 1989 D penny at home, here's what to do. First, check the overall condition. Does it have shine? Are there scratches? Next, check the date and mint mark carefully. Sometimes doubling can appear in the numbers or letters. Look closely at the words "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date. A magnifying glass can reveal details invisible to the naked eye. If you think you might have a rare example, sending it for professional grading can confirm its true value. Part: Why collectors love the 1989 D. Collectors are fascinated with Lincoln cents because they tell a story of America itself. Each penny is a small piece of history, traveling through hands, pockets, shops, and banks. The 1989 D penny connects us to the late 1980s, a time of change in the United States, with the fall of the Berlin Wall, advances in technology, and the continuation of Lincoln's legacy on our money. Part: Building a Lincoln cent collection. Many coin enthusiasts start their journey by collecting Lincoln cents. It is affordable, accessible, and full of surprises. A complete Lincoln cent collection from 1909 to the present day can take years to assemble, and within that collection, coins like the 1989 D play an important role. Every collector hopes to find that one rare coin worth thousands of dollars, and the 1989 D gives them that possibility. Part: Investment potential. People often ask if pennies can really be an investment. The answer is yes, but with care. Not every coin will rise in value, but rare examples in top condition have consistently brought strong prices at auctions. The 1989 D penny, in particular, has shown that even modern coins can surprise us with astronomical sales. Part: The market value today. Currently, a regular circulated 1989 D Lincoln penny is worth 1 cent. In uncirculated condition, it may bring a few dollars. But those rare, high-grade examples certified as mint state 67, 68, or even 69 can skyrocket in value. And the most exceptional sales have reached over $222,674. That's the magic of coin collecting. A simple cent can transform into a life-changing discovery. Part: How to protect and store your pennies. If you want to preserve your 1989 D penny or any valuable coin, never clean it with chemicals or polish. Cleaning can destroy its value. Instead, store it in a coin holder, a protective flip, or an airtight capsule. Keep your collection safe from moisture and handling, because every scratch lowers the grade and therefore lowers the value. Part: Conclusion and call to action. So the next time you come across a 1989 D Lincoln penny, don't ignore it. Take a closer look. That coin in your hand might just be a hidden treasure worth hundreds, thousands, or even more than $200,000. Coin collecting is about history, discovery, and the thrill of finding value where others see nothing. And here at RF Coins, we bring you those stories every day. So if you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1989 D Lincoln penny, make sure to like this video, subscribe to RF Coins, and hit the bell icon so you never miss another chance to learn about coins that could be worth a lot of money. Remember, treasure is hiding in plain sight, sometimes in the form of a penny.